Hi everybody, I'm back. Time to make another video. I was out on the weekend yard sailing with my mom. Actually, my mom wasn't with me this weekend. It was my sister. Usually mom's there. And I found the cutest bean pot for my hubby because I don't like beans really. So I thought I'd come on here today and do kind of just a quick little thing, show you guys how to make some baked beans. Maybe we could learn together because it's my first time. So what I did was I did a little research on the internet, and I have a really cute cookbook. It's called Come Cook With Me, and it's done by Baby Bird Recreation Committee. That's a sweet little town down there, and they actually have a really cool place too. It was called Jimmy's Place, and I heard that they make the best fish and chips around, so I'm absolutely going to check that out during the summer, and you should too. Yeah, so what I did was I took this recipe, which was submitted by Margaret Norris. I don't know you. I'm hoping your recipe is going to be good. It looks very similar to the one that's on the bag of beans. So, yeah, I thought I'd choose yours. I'm going to do that and take a couple of little things from the internet and a couple of things from my own self. And, yeah, get going. So what we need is 2 cups of dried white pea beans. We bought these Thompson's white pea beans. There's a recipe on the back of here too. So yeah, we're just going to combine them all. I kind of like to make the recipe my own. So yeah, so we need 2 cups of those, and there's actually exactly 2 cups in the bag. So you're going to take those and you're going to pick through them, wash them really well, and then you're going to put them in a bowl, cover them with some cold water, and you're going to soak them overnight. So just, put them in, clean them, put them in the bowl, covered, go to bed. And then the next morning, what you're going to do is you're going to take those beans and the water that they were soaked in, and you're going to simmer them on the stove for about 30 minutes. I've already got that step done, don't worry. You wouldn't have to watch me for a whole half hour. So yeah, so I'm assuming that it's done in the same water to keep all the starches in the beans, because starch is what's necessary for things to kind of thicken up and I guess get the right texture, consistency to it. So yeah, and then it called for 1 onion chopped. Some recipes called for a cup, some called for a small onion. What I did was I took 2 small ones and I chopped them up. Yeah, you can kind of see, I guess medium. Hubby was like, leave them a little bigger so they don't, go away to nothing. But for me, if something's going to be in the oven for 6 to 8 hours, absolutely it's going to be gone away to nothing, even if you put a whole onion in there. So I don't think the size matters too much, but I would chop them. And then it called for a 1/2 cup of salt pork or bacon. Ashamed to say, I don't have salt pork in the house. So what I did was bacon. It didn't say to cook the bacon or the pork. So what I did was I chopped it rather small, and I'm just going to render some of the fat out. I'm going to put that in with the beans. And then that way the bacon is cooked, like the fatty parts of it are cooked a little bit. And then I'm going to take some extra bacon, because you know me, extra bacon. And I'm going to put that on the top while it's cooking. I don't know, hopefully it'll work. I know you got to keep the beans covered with water and stuff, so we'll see. So yeah, so the onions. And then it called for 2 tablespoonfuls of vinegar. It didn't specify what kind of vinegar, so I've got a tablespoonful of white and a tablespoonful of apple cider. So a lot of recipes online actually called for just the cider vinegar. And I use it like in my marinades and sauces when I'm doing like cabbage rolls and different things like that. So the cider vinegar does give a slightly different taste than the regular white vinegar. A teaspoon of salt, so we've got some Himalayan sea salt. I actually found this at Piper's the weekend. I usually buy the Himalayan salt. It's in a big coarse grinder, and that's what I like to use because it's got way, way, way less sodium than regular white table salt. So I'm going to put that in there because really, like, there's lots of salt in bacon. That's what preserves it. So yeah, so the Himalayan salt is fine. Whatever you got really is best kind. 1/4 cup of mild flavored molasses. And I did look in a Crosby's cookbook as well. Their recipe was quite simple actually. And it did say not to use fancy molasses because it was too strong. But all the other recipes had called for fancy molasses. So what I'm going to do is use like almost a 1/4 cup. I don't know if you can see the measurement there. And then instead of 1 tablespoonful of brown sugar, I'm going to add 3. And so I figure it'll keep the sweetness without having a harsh molasses taste. I don't know. Newfoundlanders love molasses, most of them anyway, so I'm sure it's going to be delicious for him. I actually really don't like beans. My mom tried to make me eat beans when I was a young child, and like ever since, like even to see a wet bean in the sink when I'm doing dishes, the grosses me right out. So yeah, no beans for me. Yeah, and then just some pepper to taste. So what they say to do then, so after the beans have been soaked for simmered for a ½ hour, soaked overnight, you're going to take them and you're going to put them directly into your bean pot with the water, which is yeah, cool, new to me. So yeah, so I'm just gonna, for safety reasons, I'm going to use my ladle. And we're just going to, yeah, I don't know if you guys probably can see, that's the beans already soaked. Yeah, we're just going to put them right in the pot. Such a cute little pot. It's really old too. It's actually starting to get, I don't know if you guys know about like antique dishes and stuff. They start to get a little crackle over time, and that's how you can tell that they're really, really old. And I actually bought this off. She was a pretty old lady. She was in there and she's like, I just cleaned out my cupboard, so I figured I'd have a little yard sale, and like the nice stuff she had there for like super cheap. Wow, amazing. We actually get tons of really good yard sale finds. Unfortunately, with the COVID and stuff on the go, there hasn't been a ton this year, but you know, there's a few. I'm gonna lay my pot aside and put my bean pot on my cutting board. I don't want to ruin my little kitchen cart. So yeah, so you can kind of see the beans there. And so then we're going to take everything else and all the other ingredients and mix well. So here we go. So the onion is going to go in there. I hope I got enough room. I hope I'm going to have enough room. Let's see. Oh yeah, I think it'll make enough room. I probably could have used less onion, but that's okay because it's going to, onions shrink up and shrivel away to nothing anyway, so they're in there now. So we got that in there, and we're going to put in our vinegar, which is here. Our salt, our teaspoon of salt. I was so delighted to find this because, like I said, I always use the grinder one, and sometimes like when you bite into like a coarse piece of salt, I don't mind it, but a lot of people don't really like it. So we got our salt, the molasses. Again, it was a 1/4 cup they called for, but I'm not. Lots of recipes only called for a tablespoon. Other recipes called for 2 or 3 tablespoons. So I'm just under a 1/4 of a cup. So yeah, I'm guessing like, I don't know, 1.5 ounces maybe. There. Our dry mustard. Actually, yeah, that called for, it was a ½ teaspoon of dry mustard, and other recipes called for the regular prepared mustard. So I'm going to use a ½ teaspoon of dry mustard, and a half a teaspoon of regular mustard. I mean, I don't think it'll make it that much different. It'll make a teaspoon in total. Lots of times when the ingredients like mustard, ginger, anything really that's dried is way more concentrated than if you use fresh, so you want to be careful of that. And yeah, and then our brown sugar, so I got 3 tablespoons instead of 1. Pop that in there. Our ketchup is 1/4 of a cup. Heinz, there's no other kinds. That's all we buy in this house, although for a while you couldn't get the Heinz and we were using Almer and it was fine. I really didn't find any difference in it. And then our pepper is just to taste, so yeah, put that in there. I can see actually that I think what I'm gonna have to do is take some of this out and put it in another pot maybe to actually be able to put all my bacon and stuff in there. But I'm just gonna gently stir it. I don't want to make a big mess. Although, as you know, I'm fine with making messes. So yeah, what I'm gonna do is just take a little bit out. I'm going to put it in my measuring cup, and then I'm going to add the bacon and put it back in, and then like up to the top, and then as the beans and everything is shriveled, I'm assuming I'm assuming that they're all going to kind of shrivel up and get soft. Yeah, maybe I can add the rest of it then, but you don't want to wait too late to add it because like I said, there's beans in there and the beans take forever. I remember as a child, Halloween time, going out trick-or-treating, and I bet you just about every single house on the road had baked beans because that's all I could smell, and that still stays with me. Every time I think about baked beans, I automatically smell them. It's an okay smell. Your house would probably be stunk out of kind of like, I don't know, like a sweet and sour molassy kind of a smell, I guess. Yeah, I don't even know if I'll need to add much of the other stuff. We'll try. See how much I can fit in here. At least get the veggie part in there, the onions and the beans. So I'm not going to want to make a mess in my oven too. So what I'm going to do is just kind of, because the beans should stay covered, I'm just going to, yeah, just pour the liquid over top until it's nice and full. Then I'm going to sprinkle just a bit of pepper. I'm not doing the white pepper today. No season today. So a bit of, I guess, medium ground pepper. You can use just a shaker, black pepper, whatever. It's all good. Make it your own. And then talk about making it your own. So I wasn't sure whether to cook the bacon. I didn't know if I should, you know, chop it really, really fine. She had it on there to dice it. Lots of people didn't. So I diced mine fine. I rendered out just a bit of the fat, as you saw. And then what I thought I'd do is just take a little extra bacon and leave it raw and just kind of place it over the top, because I think what will happen then is that all the, you know, the flavor from this bacon will just kind of run down into the beans, and then it'll add to the flavor, and it'll also, I'm assuming, might get a little crispier where it's on the top. And who doesn't love extra bacon? My husband loves bacon. Well, the whole house loves bacon. So on there, we're going to put all that on there. And yeah, I'm going to try to put my lid back on because it does say to cover it. If my lid doesn't fit back on, I might just go right over top with some tin foil, but we'll see. And yeah, that's about it. So something quick and simple to put together. However, it does take the entire day to cook. So, in about 6 or 8 hours or so, I will definitely take a little picture for you. And when I put on the video, I'll post the recipe. I actually rewrote it to include what I use. And yeah, so I hope you liked the video. I just wanted to say a special thank you to everyone that watched and shared and liked my last video. I was amazed at the positive response that I had. I mean, I had people email me from all over asking questions and different things. So it's really, really appreciated because I'm very, very new to the videos, as most of you know. And so I'm all about sharing and teaching, and if I can teach any of you something, I'm absolutely going to take the time to research it and do it up for you, and hopefully you guys can learn something and I can learn something, and you know, we can do it together because lots of people are at home and they're by themselves and it gets kind of lonely, I'm sure. I remember when I first finished work, I was home a lot by myself, and I was okay for the first few hours, but then I got pretty bored, and you know, it's nice to have, even though I'm not right in your kitchen with you, I'm here in spirit with you, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and there'll be lots more to come, I'm sure, and I hope you're having a great day, and I know as I'm going to be having a great night with the hubby and the farts after this one. Anyway, have a wonderful day. Bye.